You know, in a busy hospital, you see numbers on screens all the time. But have you ever stopped to think about how one of those numbers, just a single digit, can actually become a life-saving decision? Well, that's what we're diving into today. We're going to pull back the curtain on this amazing field called nursing informatics, which is really the secret engine powering that whole journey. So, yeah, this is the big question, right? How does that happen? Because a reading on a monitor, well, it's just data, it's a number. So, how in the world does it turn into a real, critical, life saving action? We're going to figure that out by looking at the hidden blueprints, the secret maps that guide nursing today. Okay, so the field that makes all this magic happen, it's called nursing informatics. And it's not just about computers in a hospital. Think of it as this incredible specialty that's part nursing smarts, part information science, and part computer wizardry. All of it working together for one single reason, to take that raw data and guide it all the way up the ladder to what we call clinical wisdom. Now, as you can imagine, wading through this ocean of healthcare data well, it's not easy. You can't just jump in and hope for the best. You absolutely need a map. You need some good tools. You need guiding principles to make sense of everything. Otherwise, all this amazing technology could end up being more of a headache than a help. So these guiding principles, they basically come in three flavors: theories, models, and frameworks. Here's the simplest way to think about it. A theory tells you why something works. A model shows you how it all fits together, like a blueprint. And a framework, that's your step-by-step how-to guide for actually getting it done. Why, how, and how to. All right, let's kick things off with theory. A theory is the bedrock, the foundation. It's not just about seeing that something happens, it's about understanding why it happens. So, for example, a theory can explain exactly why a smart alert system on a computer helps a nurse make a better, quicker decision, which, at the end of the day, means better care for the patient. It gets to the root cause. Next up is the model. And a model is literally like a blueprint or a map. It's all about the visual. It shows you how all the different pieces of a puzzle connect. A great example is a model that charts the exact journey a piece of patient data takes through an electronic health record, from the moment it's typed in all the way to a specialist looking at it on their screen. You can actually see the flow. And finally, we've got the framework. This one is the most hands-on, the most practical of the bunch. This is your instruction manual, your recipe. If a hospital is getting ready to launch a huge new information system, they don't just wing it. They follow a framework that guides them through every single stage: planning, training, the big go-live day, and even check in to see how it's working months later. Okay, so theory, model, framework. I get it. It can still sound a little bit academic, a little abstract, so let's make it super concrete. We're going to follow the story of a single patient's data and watch how this journey to wisdom actually unfolds in a real-life situation. This whole process is beautifully captured by something called the DIKW theory, and it starts with pure, raw data. A respiratory rate of 32, oxygen level at 88%. Right now, they're just numbers on a screen. But then, a nurse sees them and adds context, turning it into information. Okay, my patient is breathing way too fast and their oxygen is low. Now the nurse applies their clinical knowledge and the wheels start turning. This could be pneumonia, maybe heart failure, and that leads directly to wisdom, the action. Give the patient oxygen now and get the physician on the phone. And just like that, a number becomes a life-saving action. But here's the thing, that journey from data to wisdom, it doesn't just happen by chance. It happens inside a structure, and that structure is created by models that really shape how nurses work with technology and think through information every minute of every day. A really foundational idea here is the Graves and Corcoran model. The big takeaway from this one is that great nursing informatics isn't just about the computers. No way. It's about blending three different sciences together seamlessly, so they work as one. So let's see it in action. Think about a nurse taking care of a wound. First, you've got nursing science. That's all their clinical knowledge about how to assess a wound. Then comes information science. That's knowing how to organize all the patient's data and progress notes in a way that makes sense. And finally, you have computer science. That's the skill of actually using the electronic health record to upload photos and type in the measurements. See, all three have to work together perfectly. So, building on that idea, along comes Turley's model. And this one adds a fourth, really important ingredient to the mix: cognitive science. This is huge because it's all about remembering that the nurse using the computer is a person, not a robot. The whole goal is to make the technology feel natural, to make it intuitive, and to reduce the mental burnout on the person using it. So what does that actually look like? Well, imagine the problem is that nurses are getting totally worn out by these super complicated screens in the medical record system. So using Turley's model, the informatics team steps in. Their solution, based on cognitive science, is to redesign that screen, make it intuitive. They add simple things like drop-down menus, they make the alerts easier to understand, and the result? The nurses are less tired, less stressed, and this is the most important part, patient care gets even safer. Okay, so we've journeyed from these big ideas, the theories, all the way down to the practical blueprints, the models. So where are we headed? What's the final destination of all this? Well, the payoff is something we can all get behind: smarter and safer nursing. And trust me, the impact of this is absolutely everywhere you look in a modern healthcare setting. It's in the electronic health records that give everyone one clear, accurate story for each patient. It's in the decision support systems that whisper best practice advice right in a nurse's ear. It's in the simple beep of a barcode scanner that prevents a medication mistake. And it's in telehealth that beams an expert doctor right into a patient's home. And that really gets us to the heart of it all. The most important thing to remember is that these things, theories, models, frameworks, they aren't just for textbooks. They are the invisible architecture that takes technology and transforms it from what could be a frustrating, clunky tool into a genuine partner for the nurse. A partner that helps them deliver safer, smarter, better care to every single patient. Which, of course, brings us to the future. We mapped out this incredible journey from data to wisdom. But with things like AI, machine learning evolving at lightning speed, it really makes you wonder, what's the next step in that journey? Where do we go from here? Hey, if you found this explainer helpful or maybe even a little inspiring and informative, we'd love it if you'd share it, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to watch for our next upload. Thanks so much for watching.